I just bought the Panasonic Lumix S9, and instead of going for one of the all-in camera bundles you might see online, I decided to build my own setup, piece by piece, exactly the way I needed it. Well, I've had some experience in collecting a lot of gear while I was buying lenses and a lot of camera bodies for my Sony ecosystem. So I knew what exactly I would need to complete my film setup for my Lumix S9. I picked up the camera from DG Direct, which is a store in Australia, and I got it with a 20-60 kit lens. The lens is actually pretty versatile for general use. Wide enough at 20mm for vlogging or landscapes, and with that 60mm, it's just enough to reach for those tighter shots and get some compression. It's obvious, it's not the fastest lens out there, but it's a great place to start. And for me, it was a solid first choice, especially because it was on discount and I only ended up paying around 200 Australian dollars extra with the camera. Since then, I've added two more lenses to my kit. The first one is a Meiki 35 f2. It's a compact prime lens that punches way above its price tag. It gives you a decent shallow depth of field, sharp images, and has a classic 35mm look that just works for almost everything. Talking head videos, street photography, even the casual product shoot. But saying that, the close focus on that is not as good as I wanted it to be. So I ended up picking a third lens, which is 28-200 zoom lens. This one's an all-rounder. When I don't know what kind of situation I'll be in, this lens is perfect for that, as it pretty much covers everything. From a wide shot to a tight close-up. It's just super practical. It's a one lens setup that lives on my camera. Like, I don't need to take any other lens. It doesn't protrude too much. And the best part about this lens is it's not too heavy. It's just 420 grams. And it does have a macro capability as well, which is pretty impressive. Although it's not particularly fast either. But with a good lighting, it gets the job done. And more importantly, it saves me switching lenses constantly when I'm out there filming. So far, I'm really enjoying this camera. The Lumix S9 has a full-frame sensor. It can shoot up to 6K open-gate video at 30 fps, and it records in 10-bit color. That means I get maximum flexibility in post-production, especially when color grading. It also supports real-time LUTs, so I can actually see how the footage might look after grading, or even burn that grade in while shooting, right there in camera. When it comes to stability, that's one of the reasons I picked up this camera, because I used to have a Sony ZV-E1 which had a dynamic stability mode which cropped in quite a lot, but it was smooth enough for me to do handheld shots. And with this one, I've used it handheld a lot already and it smooths out the footage nicely. Definitely good enough for YouTube content or vlogs. Now, I won't say it beats Canon's or Sony's autofocus system, but for the price range, it holds its own very well. And in box, I got the camera, I've got the lens, I've got a Lumix branded battery and a strap. Although I don't tend to use the strap, instead I've got those Peak Design straps that I've been using for my cameras, and I've just got enough of these already to just use those, because the advantage of those is you can just take them off whenever you want to, unlike the other strap which takes a while to take it off. Well, that said, one battery is never enough. The last thing you want is to be waiting for a battery to charge with your creative juices running high. So I picked up a newer battery, and that came with a USB-C charger interface, which means I can just plug it in any USB charger and I'll be good to go. I'm usually a bit skeptical of third-party things, but I've used newer products before and this one seems to be reliable so far. No overheating, no weird error messages, it just seems to work. To support my lens setup, I also had an unused variable ND filter along with a UV filter from my Sony lenses. No. In fact, I think it is from my Nikon lenses that I can use for my Meiki 35mm. The ND filter is a Hoya ND filter, which helps control light without having to close down the aperture. That's super helpful when I want to maintain that shallow depth of field in bright conditions. And the UV filter is perfect for having that extra bit of protection for your lens. And for storage, I'm using a SanDisk Extreme Pro card, which is a 128 GB, which is V30 and above. Because when you're shooting 6K video, storage becomes critical. Not just the size of the card, but more importantly, the write speed. This camera records at 200 megabits per second, so your SD card needs to handle that without dropping frames. A lot of people get confused by large read speed numbers printed on SD cards like, 170 Mbps or 200 Mbps. But those are mostly for data transfer. What really matters is the V rating, which stands for video. My card is rated at V30, which means it can sustain 30 Mbps write speeds, translating to 240 Mbps, making it perfectly capable for recording the 6K footage. Well, the last piece I added, and honestly one of the most important bit, is a small rig half gauge. The Lumix S9 has a sleek, minimalist design, but it lacks a front grip. The small rig half gauge attaches to the bottom quarter mount of the camera and gives me a front grip as well. And it does have a built-in Arca Swiss quick release plate for easy tripod switching. It also improves overall handling of the camera because it gives a bit of a grip at the base as well, which I really appreciate during long handheld shoots. All in one, this setup feels like exactly what I needed as a solo content creator. It's fairly lightweight, flexible, powerful enough for serious video production, and the best part, I was able to keep it all under budget by buying gear intentionally instead of relying on bundle deals filled with filter accessories and other things. If you're building a camera rig as a content creator, especially if you're planning to shoot cinematic videos, YouTube content, or even short films, I would definitely recommend looking into the S9 and building your own setup from ground up. If you want to see more sample footages, behind the scene tests, or my full editing workflow with this setup, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'll be sharing all of that right here at PA Creator. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.